I watched every single anime from the summer 2023 season, and here are some of the best ones that are worth watching. Last season was one of the strongest seasons in quite a long time. Oshinoko was a huge success. Heavenly Delusion presented something truly unique. Hell's Paradise offered an unpredictable and captivating story. Skip to Loafer, Insomniacs After School. We had countless amount of great animes, and somehow I only finished the two worst ones. While it's quite difficult to surpass a season like that, the summer 2023 season might just be the one to do it. We have an anime depicting a zombie apocalypse, a romance that truly made me sad, a horror that is genuinely terrifying, and even a unique isekai concept centered around a vending machine? Okay, maybe we won't surpass the last season. Zone 100 is set in our current world and serves as a portrayal of the exploitative work culture prevalent in Japanese corporations. Similar to how Oshinoko did in the previous season, it sheds light on the detrimental effects of the Japanese system, revealing the harsh reality of overwork and its toll on individuals. Presenting this from the perspective of Akira Tendo, a 24-year-old whose initial happiness quickly fades as he realizes the world he has fallen into with no way of escaping it. Well, at least until he finds himself in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. The first episode of Zone 100 was something truly unique, presenting an engaging and thought-provoking story with a really strong first episode. This anime is coming from Bug Films, a studio that never made an anime prior to this, however helped out on animes like Summertime Rendering. They did such an amazing job with it. It has a really unique style, characters are constantly moving, it's filled with these small transitions that other animes never do. The music fits so well. I'm just really amazed by it. It gives a really unique vibe, and it's definitely worth a watch. But if there is one anime that was hyped up and failed to deliver, it has to be The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. It's not that it's a bad anime, it presents a simple romance between two students, and it's overall a nice and wholesome story. However, unlike Zone 100, the director seems to have no idea what he's doing, and it has reached a point where it truly pisses me off. The characters fail to blend in with the background, the shading and colors are completely off, and what are those CGI shots? Stop doing it! It doesn't look good. I usually don't really care. Most of my favorite animes have a pretty basic animation, but something like this is just not at an acceptable level. However, the romance that really surprised me was My Happy Marriage. After having countless amount of romances set in a high school, this one feels refreshing, giving off a Cinderella-like vibe. The story takes place during the Edo period, where arranged marriages were the norm. Our main character, Mio, is born into a family like that, an unfortunate child of a loveless, arranged marriage. Unfortunately, Mio's mother passed away just a few years after her birth, and her father remarried soon after, eventually having another daughter with his new wife. As a result, Mio's life was reduced to that of a mere servant, forced to accept everything that happened to her, hiding her pain and keeping her head down. Eventually arranged to be married to a military captain, rumored that he has driven away every one of his potential wives so far. So far it's a truly compelling story with an excellent portrayal of the characters' emotions. Just looking at them, you know exactly how they feel, which evokes an emotional response within you. When I looked at Mio, I felt sad. The daughter and her mother, on the other hand, made me angry. Their entitled behavior was evident without them even saying a word. The story does a great job of evoking these emotions and achieving its intended impact. Including this, we have over 28 new animes in this season, but there are also a large amount of sequels that we can be excited about. After almost 3 years, Jujutsu Kaisen is back with its second season, bringing in a new, more cinematic style with quite a few original scenes, which in my opinion gives it a bit more of a personality. Mushoku Tensei is also in with a decent first episode, and a bit controversial second one. Bleach with its final manga arc, finally ending the anime after almost 19 years. Rent-a-Girlfriend 3rd season, Bungo Stray Dogs 5th season, Masamune-kun's Revenge with its 2nd season, an anime that I still won't recommend even after 7 years. And finally, let's not forget that although some may not consider it an anime, but Link Click is finally back and the new OP is so good. Oh, I love it.
服も乾いてきた。よかった。濡れたままで式典に行かなくて済みそう。
Liar Liar is an anime about students living on an island where games determine everything. Initially, I thought it would be similar to No Game No Life, but the way the characters behave gives me a vibe more akin to Classroom of the Elite. However, instead of an apathetic main character, we have a useless goofball with seed level of luck. Funnily enough, it turned out to be quite enjoyable, had some funny scenes and probably will be a fun watch if you don't take it too seriously. However, this is not even the only anime where games decide everything. We also got Hulk, where humanity defeated the Demon King and the Demon World prepared a tournament which will decide who would inherit the title of Demon King. The only problem with that is that one of the competitors is a human. And naturally, they don't want him to win. However, he happens to be much stronger than anyone else, so they resort to trying different kind of games where he actually has a chance to lose. Unfortunately, none of their attempts have succeeded thus far. In the meantime, they delve into his background and discover that he committed fratricide, which refers to the killing of one's brother or sister. The anime presents us with a seemingly basic story that raises a lot of intriguing questions, making it really interesting. While we don't know much about Hulk initially, he appears to be a relatively simple character on the surface, and as a result I think that the anime will primarily focus on his character development and the gradual revelation of his true motives. It's interesting, unique, looks good, has the potential to be one of the best animes of this season.
聖女様が濡れてしまうんですよね。
水も滴るいい聖女という方向性はどうですか？
What do you mean by that?
After their huge success with Oshinoko, Togakubo is back with a religious romantic comedy. A really enjoyable and chill anime about a pastor and a saint. It's probably a bit too slow for most people, but I really enjoyed it. The characters are really well written. Lawrence is a bit too overprotective, while Cecilia wants to get out of her comfort zone, which makes up for a lot of great comedic scenes. And she's also really cute.
そんな複雑な事情よりも、ませんか？
And they also have a good dynamic, which makes it a really fun and just comforting watch. Okay, let's see what else do we have. We talked about that, that's later. Oh, that looks interesting. The Genofy is a really... And also the Reign of the Seven Spellblades is... Throughout the past few years, we had an insane amount of isekais with weirder and weirder storylines, like a cooking isekai or a pharmacy isekai. But the most ridiculous one has to be the vending machine isekai, which is finally here, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but it actually wasn't bad. It's weird, but I really enjoyed the dynamic of the two main characters, even if they can't talk with each other. It's a ridiculous idea, yet it actually makes a lot more sense than a lot of the other isekais we had prior to this. I mean, he can feed people, become a shield. I don't know how I feel about this, but it was fun to watch, even if it lacks animation wise a bit. If this isekai is that good, the others have to be on another level.
生殖という行為をして初めて母乳は母体から湧き出すものでしょ。さあ、私に種付けしてください。
Yeah, I had enough of isekais. A really popular trend in the past few years has been the complete remakes of older animes, which have actually been quite successful. The remake of Fruit Basket was really enjoyable. Trigun was a bit different but still really good. And now this time, we have the remake of Rurouni Kenshin. Actually, it's quite a controversial remake. Not because of the remake itself, but due to the actions of the original author. It's completely understandable why someone wouldn't support this remake, but I feel like we should separate the art from the artist, especially now when he has nothing to do with it. It still gives you the same vibes as the 90s anime did, so for a decent remake, and the only thing I really miss from it is the original OST. However, it's not even the only controversial anime of this season. My Tani Senpai got a lot of people mad after its trailer, and you will never believe why. Because it appeals to male fantasy. Apparently, small girls with big tits solely exist to appeal to male fantasy. It's basically the Uzaki-chan kind of situation once again. I don't understand why people get so mad about animes like this. Just 2 seasons ago, we had the literal opposite of this with Tomo-chan, where the main character is a tall tomboy. But whatever, let's actually talk about the anime. And yeah, it was okay. But we still got quite a few romances, so let's just go through all of them. The Dreaming Boy is Released was the true definition of mid. The whole anime is about our main character drastically changing, but they never explain what he was like before. It almost feels like a copy of a bunch of other romances, maybe because it is. They copied Tomo from Bunny Girl Senpai, the character looks the same, acts the same way, has the same story. They also just redrew a bunch of scenes from similar animes, and the opening is a full-on copy of the Oregairu Season 2 OP. It's filled with scenes like this, and I'm pretty sure they can get sued for this. However, one that actually did a decent job was Temple. It's not just a simple romance, it's more of an old-style harem ecchi, and you know exactly what to expect from it. It does its job pretty damn well, it's fun and looks pretty good. However, there is one small problem with it. You know, I don't want to be disrespectful towards the voice actor, but perhaps he wasn't a perfect choice for a college student.
ただいま。ゆきち？おーい、ゆきち。普通の猫だったらの話だけど。
When I saw the official art for this anime a while ago, I genuinely thought it was an over-exaggeration. But the anime is actually just about a big cat that loves cooking and shopping. I kept waiting for some sort of twist, like the cat being evil, but no, it's just a big cat. It's weird and not what I expected at all, yet I strangely really enjoyed it. Another anime that was weird but enjoyable is Dark Gathering, a horror anime that has a lot of genuinely scary moments. However, it's a bit too comedic and somewhat cringe for me. It has quite a unique combination of an adult that attracts spirits and a kid that loves torturing said spirits, which obviously leads to the actual horror elements. What caught my interest though was its story and its connection to the characters. It's written in a really simple way and you understand quickly what kind of characters they are, leaving a lot of room for character improvement. On the other hand, it also consists of a lot of mystery elements that add another layer of depth to it, making it a really solid combination. The only thing that felt kind of disappointing was its animation. Not that it's bad, but knowing how well OLM did on the horror elements of summertime rendering, I just expected more from them. But I guess that's what happens when half the studio quits to work on another horror anime. Speaking of dark animes, Undead Murder Force is definitely going to be the dark horse of this season. The story takes place at the end of the 19th century, where our main character works at a freak show as a so-called Oni Slayer, a half-human, half-demon who slays demons as an attraction. One day, he meets an immortal being who wishes to be slain by him since someone stole the rest of her body, and she doesn't want to live as just a head anymore. In exchange, he will tell the Oni Slayer how to extend his life, as it's visually apparent that he does not have much time left due to his illness. However, Tsugaru, our main character, offers to help her find her other half, since it seems like he has something to do with the person who stole half of her body. A really weird concept overall, but the characters involved definitely make it work. Among all the anime characters from this season, Tsugaru is undoubtedly the most well-written character. The animation, story and pacing are all perfect so far, which is really impressive considering it's a novel adaptation. I just hope they can continue to nail it and create a truly great anime. That's all the animes that somewhat were to watch from this season. A few were left out as it wasn't noteworthy at all. However, if you want to watch something that was noteworthy, then click on this video. Subscribe if you enjoyed this. Goodbye.